Today, more information releases on DC Statehood, which stands for District of Columbia, which is the nation's capital. However, we do know that Article 1, Section 8, Clause 23 of the Constitution states that DC cannot become a state. So why all of a sudden are we ramming DC through as a state? Well, no. Actually, they're not quite ramming DC through as a state. They're changing the name to Douglas Commonwealth that way. It's a whole new state and a whole new name. Why? Because Democrats don't care about District of Columbia. All they care about is Douglas Commonwealth, more power to them, more senators, more everything. It's all they care about, no names and nothing else. And why is that we are allowing them to go, no, we'll just change the name of it. Yeah, we'll just turn this little section. And you think, if they can turn that city into a state, what stops them from turning New York City into a state? What stops them from turning Los Angeles into a state? What stops them from putting Baltimore into a state? What stops them from anything into a state? So that's very interesting there on why it's just a pure political power grab in disregard to the Constitution, working around it, just changing the name because, it's not DC. We can work around the Constitution. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is the Census Bureau for 2020 census. Now, the census, it does have some interesting data. So the first thing that popped up in the census that I saw was the population was up 7.4% from 2010, so that's 10 years ago, 11 now. Up 7.4%, so that's 22 million people in 10 years. I mean, to say that's not a lot of people, that'd be crazy because most of them are from immigration, but as well as population expanding. And what all this means for government officials, the House of Representatives, especially for districting, things like that, because in the House of Representatives, many states got changes to their amount of House of Representatives. That's that we know of right now. I'm sure the Electoral College is going to change. So like California was 55, it might change to like 54 or change to 56, or it might, electoral votes might increase and decrease depending on population now. So here's what we do know as of now about the House of Representatives. Texas got a plus two House of Representative members. So Texas really, I think, had the biggest increase in population. And then following behind that with about 5 other states would be Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon each got 1 new member of the House of Representatives. Now, I find it really odd, the population increased, but there's a lot of states on this list that also lost electoral votes. And I wonder if it's like redistributing the House of Representatives instead of growing it with the amount of people. They're just redistributing it to different states that have more population, which is weird how they handle that, because I would think, because 1790 when the House was created there was 105 people. We now know there's 435 people in it right now, and I just figure it would just keep increasing with the population increase. So that's interesting. California lost a House of Representative member. That shocks me because I know California is a very populated state, and the fact that it went down for the first time since 1990, that shocks me, because California I just thought would just keep growing and growing and growing and growing until eventually it couldn't no more, and population was down. Illinois was also down a House of Representative, which, it surprises me, but it also doesn't. Michigan is down a House Representative. New York was down a House Representative. Surprised me because it's a very populated state. It just goes to show that if California and New York lose 1, Texas gain 2, a lot of people moved to Texas from those other states. Ohio lost 1, which is a big one because Ohio, a lot of people there as well. Pennsylvania lost 1, West Virginia lost 1, and that's for the House of Representatives side. So this whole thing with, if you look at the states that increase the amount of electoral college points, or not electoral, my bad, House of Representatives, Texas, Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon. Lots of those are Republican stronghold states in the Electoral College. Maybe Montana. Well, no, Montana is. I'm thinking Florida, Colorado, Montana, Texas, Oregon. I think Oregon is the one state on the list. Maybe North Carolina. Those two, about the only two states on the list that are not Republican stronghold states, surprises me. Which it also doesn't at the same time. Because you get the people that want to escape places like California and New York, which are just absolute crap. The amount of cities they are, Democrat controlled, it's just insane. So it doesn't surprise me that these people move out to these other states, but we just hope they don't bring their way of voting out there so they don't screw that up as well. Because if they do that, well then the whole America is screwed up the reason they left their state in the first place. So we'll have to see how that pans out when those people that moved from other states vote into those states. And very interesting how I think like Georgia was a very big election year. I mean, both senators in Georgia went for Democrats in 2020. Georgia went for Joe Biden in 2020. That was surprising because it was normally a Republican stronghold state. So the fact that Georgia didn't gain any or lose any surprises me. It just stayed the same. Another state that I would like to point out, Arizona. Joe Biden won Arizona. I think he barely won that. And the same thing with Nevada. Nevada not so much. Arizona more because it's bigger population, more electoral votes. But then you gotta think about it. It has all the people from the southern border coming in, all the illegals and stuff that are voting without voter ID, which, by the way, is the same crap on why Georgia created those voter ID laws, because look what's Arizona. All these illegals are coming in, voting, nobody cares. No, doesn't bother them, because why? Democrats get the illegals, give them free stuff, they get the vote, all that matters, they stay in power. And that's why Georgia is now, after getting Democrat elections, now they're saying, okay, we need voter ID to vote. And now all of a sudden Democrats are saying it's a power grab. Oh, it's racist. But it's not racist. See, people of all races get voter ID no matter who you are. So that makes no sense. And then the Major League Baseball decided to pull out of Georgia, and they went to Colorado, which has the same ID voting laws. Georgia, I don't know. Corporations just going woke, going broke. So yeah, that just them being crazy. And anything else interesting in the news today? If you guys found anything else that I may have missed or did not talk about, because I'm sure there's many things going on right now that I just haven't picked up on, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. And leave your comments, anything news that I might have missed, anything you want me to talk about next time, anything, your opinion. You can leave your opinion. Feel free to leave your opinion in the comment, because I'm willing to hear everyone's opinion no matter what you believe in. I want to hear it. So I think that will be all for today's video, and thank you guys for watching.